Talmor, Shishin Magachi. Talmor is my home. My family have worked the land for generations. My gran says the island does not belong to us, but we belong to the island. And we must be ready, for a great evil is coming, and death follows with it.
Listen and subscribe to the latest season of Undertow, The Harrowing, a Storyglass production presented by Realm, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
Hey everybody, I'm Mike Reno from Loverboy.
Hi, this is Joe Satriani.
Hey, I am Brandy Rhodes.
Hey, I'm UFC fighter CB Dollaway. Clay Milliken, driver of the Parts Plus, Great Clips, Top Fuel Dragster.
What's up, world? This is your favorite comic, Tony Rock.
Hey guys, this is Kendra Sunderland, Vixen Angel of the Year.
Hey, this is Jimmy Chamberlain.
Hey, it's your boy J-Rock from Sunnyvale Trailer Park. You know, I'm and you listen to my boy T-Biscuit on the Toddcast podcast. I'm out like I sold something.
Which TV show was the first to really grab a hold of you? I think for me it was probably Buck Rogers. Remember that show? It was the late 70s. I don't remember much for the show itself. I just remember when the intro would come on, it would pump me up. I was excited that show was on, but that's about it, really. I was young, like maybe 4 or 5 years old kind of thing. But I do remember wrestling being right up there as well. Now, granted, this is many, many, many years later, but I was a maniac for that. Stampede Wrestling, All-Star Wrestling, WCW, the WWF, of course now the WWE. That should have me glued to the tube. You know when somebody's kind of like zoned out and they're staring off into the distance, nobody's home? Yeah, that. I would zone out, just watching Hogan and the Iron Sheik and Ricky the Dragon, the British Bulldogs. And once the shows were done, be it the WrestleMania or just a random Saturday afternoon, I would go and get my ass kicked by my older brother Steve. Well, this week we have a wrestler that you've seen on WWE Raw, AEW, Women of Wrestling, MCW Pro Wrestling, and more. Ray Lynn jumped on a Zoom with us just a few days back. Also this week, he's the author of the Kids in the Hall One Dumb Guy book, which is a great read. And he's the host of the wildly popular Record Store Day podcast. Paul Myers is a guest as well. First, let's get to our first guest of 3. This week's musical guest, Black Label Society frontman and Ozzy Osbourne guitarist Zakk Wylde. That is brought to you by Pineapple Sound, good buddies with a recording and mixing studio in Langley since 2013. They welcome, of course, bands, obviously, but podcasts, voiceover actors, and pretty much whatever else you can do in a recording studio. Check them out through pineapplesound.com. They're all over Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as well, as they should be. I think we talked to Zakk Wylde for around 20 minutes, something like that. You can hear it now. You can see it as well. We did it on Zoom at our iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube accounts. You can find all of them at Toddcast Podcast. Seemed to make sense. Now, obviously, we talked to him about writing and recording this new Black Label album, Doom Crew Inc., during the pandemic, and that he's been quoted as saying it's a, quote, double guitar album.
Just the evolution of having Dario, just throughout the years of the torn. So just giving, it's always giving him more things to do, you know what I mean? To just join the party, So, yeah. I mean, Dario's a great player, so he's phenomenal. So the whole thing is, when I made the record, obviously now it's just, I wrote consciously just going, we'll do some harmonies here. This will be there. Kind of like I said, with the Allman Brothers or Priest, that type of format.
Pretty cool to get an inside scoop from Zakk on the recording of the new record, hey? We got into a lot with him, the albums that he would need if he was stuck on a deserted island, and there's one in there that might surprise you. The shows he's been binge watching, we talked about gambling, we talked about yacht rock, New Wave, and Elton John, Marvel versus DC, Star Wars, Star Trek, And Zakk shared his thoughts on those hologram tours, like the one that Ronnie James Dio. There was a Ronnie James Dio tour, if you didn't know, that had a hologram of him playing. That was just prior to the pandemic.
I think it's great. I mean, all it's doing is keeping our favorite artists' memories alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it's like seeing cover bands or anything like that. And put it this way, if you go and see it and we all have a great time, all you're doing is celebrating Ronnie's greatness and how awesome he was. So I don't see any problems with it.
Yeah.
It's entertainment. It's just like you're going to see, and if you love Ronnie James Dio, and we all do, it's just like you have a great time. It's no different than when I see any of my friends that play in cover bands. I got my buddies that play in Zoso and everything like that. They're amazing Zeppelin cover band.
Mm.
And every time I've had them, we go see them, we have a great time. It's just awesome. So, and you're just celebrating. I think it's just a celebration of your favorite bands and your favorite artists. So I think it's awesome. I have no problems with it at all.
Yep, same. I'm just not positive I'd pay the same price I would pay to see Pearl Jam or Foo Fighters, or you know what I mean? Zakk talked about the longevity of Black Label Society as well. We touched on the big albums from 1991. Think about it. Chili Peppers, Metallica, Pearl Jam, Nirvana. It was massive, big year, including Ozzy Osbourne's No More Tears, which of course he played on 30 years ago. Some of the best rock albums of all time came out that year.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is I just looked at, even when we had the 20th anniversary record,
yeah,
when we did the Sonic Brew thing, it was like, I have my all my old Guitar Player magazines and stuff like that from the 70s and everything like that.
Yeah.
So, but I had Keith Richards on there, probably from 76 or something, 77, whatever. It said 16 years with the Rolling Stones, Keith Richards. And I was just laughing going, now they're on 60 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then, that was all uncharted territory. No rock bands lasted 16 years.
None, dude.
No, not even
go back to like the
10 years.
Beatles. The Beatles, when they did they were like, "Oh, you're 6 years in."
Yeah.
Did you ever dream? Same thing for Zeppelin,
totally.
all those guys, right?
Yeah. No, but that's what you said. Zeppelin, 12 years is a long existence for a rock band. You know what I mean? So 16. So, here's Black Label. We're on what now? 22 years, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just flies by. The No More Tears thing is 30 years ago.
I know, right?
So
dude, so many albums came in 1991. That was when I graduated high school in 91. And Ozzy, fucking Chili Peppers, Metallica, Nirvana,
yeah,
Pearl Jam, huge. You look back now, and now they're considered almost classic albums.
Yeah, there was a ton of them that came out that year for sure.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Musical guests of the Toddcast podcast are powered by Pineapple Sound, providing recording and mixing services for a wide range of artists and genres since 2013. Check them out at pineapplesound.com.
They are an absolutely deadly band live. You're less than a couple of weeks away from checking out We Hunt Buffalo at the Rickshaw Theatre in Vancouver on Friday, October 22nd. It's a good show. We Hunt Buffalo with Bort and Becky Black. Expect that one. Write it down to get loud AF. The song you heard from We Hunt Buffalo is called Hold On. Hey, coming up in about 10 minutes, in Listen to This, Bellator MMA Octagon girl Mercedes Terrell, she's also got a great podcast called The Magic Hour. She talks about the possibility of alien visitation. That is powered by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, RV service and repair, ICBC accredited. Check, check, check. Find them on Facebook. They're also on Twitter as well, at Tedco RV Supplies. First, the second of 3 Toddcast guests this week is our sporting guest, as seen on WWE Raw, AEW, Women of Wrestling, MCW Pro Wrestling, and more. Pro wrestler Ray Lynn, who, as it turns out, is a very big fan of this week's musical guest, Zakk Wylde. Check out what she said when we asked her about the 3 albums that she would need if stranded on a deserted island.
Oh my God. Okay. So Guns N' Roses,
The original Appetite.
Yeah. That's I listened to that like on repeat in Japan. I don't know why I was like so into it at that point in my life.
Yeah.
Black Label Society is one of them, but I'm drawing a blank on what album it is. It has
So
Berserkers on it.
You weren't kidding around. Like you're a
No, I wasn't.
You're a fan of.
I
Zakk.
have his book. I love that book.
And he's another one of those guys that's really fun to talk to. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched Zakk Wylde interviews, but
his interviews and his book. And then like he likes wrestling too. So that's cool.
Huge fan. Yeah. Okay, so those are that's 2 good starts.
Third one. I'm going with Biggie for my third one. Because like I said, I like hip hop, so I need to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. You gotta have some hip hop in there. Biggie, 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 can't you see? You know, we reached out to Raylan only about a week back, which in terms of getting things ready for the podcast, it's quite late. Normally we're like 3-4 weeks ahead of schedule, and she was game to be a guest as well, which is super cool of her because she's great. She's been grinding it out for years. As mentioned, you've seen her everywhere in the game. And I think we talked for just over 20 minutes with Ray Lynn. You can hear that. You can see that right now on all of our social media channels at Toddcast Podcast, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. And while you're there, maybe smash that subscribe button.
My first match was 6 months after I started.
Okay.
I was in an intergender tag match. Or no, I think it's called a mixed tag match, but it was one of my favorite 2 guys I trained with. And then one of the only girls that was nice to me at the time decided she'd be in the match.
Nice. And what do you like better? Do you like the tag team? Because you do both, right? Like you do tag team and the solo. Like, what do you like better?
I like them both a lot. I love tag wrestling. I like having someone to like share these memories with, which is it's gonna sound corny, but it's kind of nice because you vibe off of someone. And if you have a good tag partner and it's someone that you both kind of click, I love that.
Yeah, it's a good buddy and hanging out after and shit. Yeah, it's your companion. You can bitch with them about anything you need to bitch about, and yeah, it's fun. She's got a great laugh, eh? Yeah, we got into a good chunk of wrestling talk, as you might hope and expect, probably half of the conversation. But we dug around a little bit, got into Game of Thrones and X-Files, Aliens, Paula Abdul, Elton John, family. We talked country music. And Raylan shared whether she's a fan of superhero movies. There's just so many of them now. I love the Avengers. Like and Deadpool was really good too. So I guess the X-Men were good, but not Disney X-Men. Yeah. No, yeah. You want it full on, like fighting and killing and shit like that. And like Deadpool, Ryan is from here. Ryan Reynolds is from Vancouver. Oh, is he really? So he's one of those guys when we watch, we're like, yes, keep kicking ass, keep putting the spotlight on Vancouver. He's so funny and he's so personal. Like, you follow him on social media? I don't. I should, because he's super funny and I've always really liked everything he's been in. Yeah, totally. I mean, kid's a mental case. Which superpower would you want to have? Oh my gosh. I was talking to someone about this the other day and now I can't remember what my answer was, but it was like good at the moment. So many good ones. Like time travel. Imagine having time travel or like teleportation.
Oh,
Or
that'd be massive.
invisibility.
Teleportation would be awesome because I really hate flying. I really hate flying.
And if you had the teleportation, you'd have to be able to like.
I would save so much time. Like I feel like I'm just so busy all the time. If I could teleport places, I would save so much time.
Totally, right?
I'd be able
That,
to get.
and also,
I would
but you'd
be
have
able
to be able
get
to
so much done.
You'd have to be able to teleport with whatever you could carry, though. So, like, if you wanted
I'd
to fireman
backpack it.
carry a buddy or whatever, and like,
Yeah,
boom, you're in Paris.
that'd be great.
Red Truck Beer, delivered fresh, the official beer of the Toddcast podcast. Toddcast podcast is powered by Milano Coffee, bringing you the finest espresso and coffee concepts in the world. Online at milanocoffee.ca. And now, listen to this on the Toddcast podcast.
Chances are you'll best know Mercedes Terrell from being a longtime ring card girl for Bellator MMA. But you may know her from her podcast, The Magic Hour, which she started with Jade Bryce, and they do a really, really good job of that. And when Mercedes was a guest, she shared, this is a tough question, who are your favorite MMA fighters? We talked about legalized marijuana, the superpower of teleportation. She shared a couple near-death experience stories, her love of travel, going to the Middle East. We talked about cooking and social media, her workouts, and Mercedes shared her thoughts on aliens and whether she thought that they'd visited Earth. Listen to this.
For sure. I think we started out as them, so yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're thinking of like little green dudes running around, I think if there's a species that's able to get here and has the ability, the technology, or whatever it takes in order to find us, then come be here. They probably also have the ability to be unseen or come, undetected in some way. So yeah, if we're trying to like guess about it, then it's probably already happening, whether it's in this universe or a parallel universe. It's for sure happening.
Parallel universe, really? You're opening up that door. Okay, all right. I like that. Wouldn't it be amazing that if there wasn't another life form in the universe, and we're the
that would be really amazing.
That would be amazing if we were the only ones. That just does not compute.
We really want to be that special, though.
I think
we really do.
I don't think we are, though. I think there's aliens living among us.
For sure. I think even some of us, when we encounter each other, I walk away from some encounters going, that person was not of this planet for sure,
Listen to this on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, an ICBC approved repair shop. Find them online at tedcorvsuppliesinc.com.
never been my style. I don't just get involved with others, no. And if you take me for granted, don't be surprised if I don't stay. If you don't reach out to stop me, you'll see me walk away. I'll leave you I'll leave you I'll leave you
Man, oh man, oh man, absolutely loving the progression of that band. Originally, they were called Spendo and the Skins, now simply Spendo. New song for them, new song for the podcast. Digging what I'm hearing coming out of that camp. Of course, we've been, on them for years. We've played them since their inception. Love the band, love that song. And if you remember, when I posted on my Facebook page a couple months, 2-3 months back now, I guess, about playing a show at a venue out in Langley it's probably right around now, actually. Spendo was one of the bands that reached out and said, yeah, man, we want to play, of course. So, they played actually for the podcast prior as well, a couple of years back at the Railway. So they're on our radar, and they should be on yours as well. You heard another band, speaking of, Dead Quiet, and an older song from these guys, an oldie but a goodie. It's called Blood Lovers. Catch them a month from today, November 5th. Yeah, that's my kid's birthday. Friday, November 5th at the Rickshaw Theater. Dead Quiet with Brass, Heron, and Empress. Deadly band, no pun intended. Riff masters. Dana, good buddy Dana, crushing behind that kit. One of the best drummers in the city. I mean, if you're a regular listener, you've heard me gush about these guys, these boys. Easily a favorite for years. Speaking of live music, like Dead Quiet, get your indie show posted at the indie scene at toddhancock.ca. We get about 3,000-4,000 visits a day. You never know, might help you out. If you're playing a show or you're going to check it out, if it is indie, let us know about it. A highlight of the month for next month, Wednesday, November 10th, at the Hollywood Theater. You'll want to be there for the Boom Booms. That is going to be a great show. Are you kidding me? The Boom Booms? The Hollywood Theater? Podcast Indie Scene brought to you by Mystic Rhythms Rehearsal Studios. 40 plus years of kicking your ass jamming in the music industry. Find out more about them through mysticrhythms.ca. If you need a pro jam space, that's all I'm saying. Good people as well. Okay, our final guest of episode 255 is podcaster and author Paul Myers. Paul's podcast is fantastic, by the way. Record Store Day podcast. I suggest you dig in. Now, this week's entertainment guest is brought to you by Sacred Meds, the best craft cannabis and psilocybin dispensary in Canada. There's hash, there's edibles, shatter, teas, bath bombs. It's crazy. Use the code TODCAST, get 10% off your order at checkout. Check them out through sacredmeds.com. Now, Paul and I go back a few years. He was on from 1 to 3 down the hall at Mojo Radio in Vancouver when I was doing the CFox afternoon show 3 to 7. So there would be a bit of a crossover, one of those obligatories in the hall, hey dude, kind of thing, and maybe grab a coffee, in the workroom kind of thing. He was a good shit. He is a good shit. He's an accomplished author, wrote the Kids in the Hall One Dumb Guy book. He wrote A Wizard, A True Star, Todd Rundgren in studio. He's brothers with the Mike Myers. And yes, we did talk about that. He brought it up, talking about working with Mike on set.
Oh, actually, in this summer, I can tell you this. So my brother Mike is Mike Myers. We've no sense dancing around that. Mike has a TV series for Netflix that he's doing, and it's coming out next year on Netflix. And I worked on that as a double.
No way.
Because people are all saying, "Oh, you guys look too much alike." Well, when Mike's doing a thing where he's playing different prosthetic characters with prosthetic makeup on,
yeah,
I can really make it look like him. And so Mike convinced the people who pay money for things to fly me to England, with all COVID testing and everything's 100% safe, or as safe as it can be. And so I just did 3 months working on this series where if Mike is doing a scene where he's acting to himself, they'll shoot his close-ups on all the characters, but in long shots and things where he's handing a phone to somebody, it'll be me. The idea is that you won't know it's me. The idea is that you'll just think that it's an expensive computer effect, when in fact, a lot of times it's not even, it's just me. And the makeup director is the guy who works on Saturday Night Live, who just won another Emmy, a guy named Louis Zakarian. And he just did an amazing job of making me look like him 100%. And the costumes are all the same. So that was a unique experience, which I still haven't processed, to be honest. It was 3 months living in London in an apartment. And just for me to be able to be based in London, England after this crazy lockdown year, and have, having a free apartment and free groceries, and just, it was like, it was kind of the dream to live. Like, I'm a huge Anglophile. So just being in London every day for 3 months straight was amazing.
No kidding, hey? Like, talk about perks of the job. It was cool to hear Paul tell stories. And honestly, I wasn't even sure if I was going to broach the topic that, Mike was his brother. Not the angle for me at all, asking Paul to be a guest. He's a former colleague, a former coworker. He's whip crack smart on social media as well. And again, an excellent podcast with the Record Store Day podcast.
With the Record Store Day podcast, I basically went to them and said, they said to me, would you like to do a podcast for us? And I said, well, I've been trying to do a music podcast for a while. And they said they would pay me a small amount of money a week to do it. It's every 2 weeks. And then I said, well, can we make it be like the show that I would do, me interviewing music people, whether they're artists or people in record companies or people who work at record stores. And I interview people, and the common theme is a love of music, but a love of recorded music. And their only agenda is that they're kind of a merchants association for record stores. So they want to make sure that we're constantly reminding people to buy physical media, to go to stores, brick and mortar, and God love them, and that's what Record Store Day does. So
and
yeah.
Like,
and
podcast 51 already. Like, it went.
Yeah. It goes by in the blink of an eye, when in fact it's about 2 years, almost
a couple years now.
Yeah, because we do it every 2 weeks,
Right.
But yeah, no, and so what I do is I try to get my heroes, like I have Andy Partridge of XTC on. I recorded him recently. Like, that's just for me. There's probably a few thousand XTC fans who will love that. But then I got Alabama Shake, not Alabama. We wanted to get. I'm blanking on her name.
Oh, the singer of Alabama Shakes?
Yeah. Brittany Howard.
I think it's great that he got asked to start up the Record Store Day podcast. It is a great listen. Full Talk with Paul is now posted. I think it's close to about an hour long. You can hear it. You can see it. Another Zoom chat at our iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube accounts, all at Toddcast Podcast. Here, Paul shares a story about writing the Kids in the Hall book, working on a John Candy book, and his upcoming projects.
Lately, an average day is I have 3 projects on the go, and depending on which one needs my attention, I will try to make I don't know if you can see this, but this is a list of things I have to do today.
Yes.
And my wife is a professional organizer. And so she's really good at teaching me systems, because my brain is such, you've even heard this in this conversation, my brain is such that it will go 18 different directions if I don't have a what I call a roadmap.
I'm the same thing.
Yeah. So for instance, I am working on a book about John Candy that won't be out for at least a year.
Cool.
So I'm still doing interviews for it, and I interviewed Catherine O'Hara and Joe Flaherty, and I'm trying to get Eugene Levy, and they're putting the dates. Or he got popular this year, so it's really hard to corral him. But I have different interviews in the can already for different people for that. I'm also working on a documentary as an executive producer. It's based on my one of my books, and I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it yet, but I'm working on a documentary that's supposed to be out next year with Amazon. And that's the first time I've been an executive producer on anything, and I had something to do with blocking out the story as well. And then I'm also doing the podcast every 2 weeks. Right. So that means booking people, because I pretty much do all the booking and recording of interviews from here, from this little home. They've set me up with a couple of nice things, including this SM7B microphone that I'm speaking into.
It's quite nice.
Oh yeah, and I got them to get me a boom microphone because I found myself. I used to have the mic over on the side, and I'd be like out. You know, it's so during the whole COVID. I mean, the thing is, pre-COVID, I was still doing this Zoomy interview stuff because I live in a place that's not LA and not New York and not Toronto and not Vancouver.
Toddcast Podcast entertainment guest visits are powered by Sacred Meds, the best cannabis and psilocybin dispensary in Canada. Available online at sacredmeds.com. Use promo code TODCAST at checkout for 10% off everything in store.
So hard to find something that I won't forget. Swear that you've been on my mind, imagining your silhouette. Take me to another place, hold your hand in every step. A kiss that I can almost taste, kinda like when we first met. Clock is ticking and our time's running out. Don't think about it. Still aglow. Let's drink about it. Nothing better than the sand between our toes. Don't think about it. Keep me high even when the tide is low. Let's drink about it. Kissing your neck, wrap my hand round your back. I be whispering your ear, yeah, you like it like that. I be creating oceans with only my hands. Sexy poetic motions, we sink in the sand. It's like a mirage, a gift from the spirit, something like a demigod. All we ever wanted was to be one with the heavens. To fly with me, our dreams would become never ending. That would be so splendid. Have you by my side, me and you a team, always down the ride. Time is never wasted, nothing can replace it. Never wanna wake up, I will never feel elated. So let's smoke, let's kiss, let's choke, let's ride or die, daydream about the bed tonight. Clock is ticking and our time's running out. Don't think about it. Sun is setting and the moon is still aglow. Let's drink about it. Nothing better than the sand between our toes. Don't think about it. Keep me high even when the tide is low. Clock is ticking and our time's running out. Don't think about it. Sun is setting and the moon will still glow. Don't think about it. Nothing better than the sand between our toes. Don't think about it. Keep me high even when the tide is low.
I can get along with that. That is Timmy Boom Bap's Blazin' Eras, featuring Tiago Vasquez, a song called Don't Think About It. The lead-off single, the EP, is called Life Guided Through Rhythm. The song is the winner of Music BC's Canadian Songwriter Challenge 2021. The band included some notes in the email and some special thanks, and why not? Let's thank those involved. Of course, the excellent staff at Music BC I have voted on their committee many times over the years. It's been a hot minute since the last time I did it, but regardless, they're cool. Amplify BC, Creative BC, Bell Media, CCMIA, and the Bandzoogle. Bottom line, Timmy's project is called Blazin' Eras. Search out Timmy Boombap on Drumeo as well. He has a video that's gone viral. A killer local drummer, a solid dude as well. And apparently he has his own recording studio now. Gotta love that. Been buddies with him for probably close to 20 years. Nice one, Timmy. Looking forward to next week. Canadian radio host, part of the syndicated Casey Clark Show. MJ is a guest.
My passion for radio actually started all the way back in high school. I kind of found my groove in high school when I got into the theater program. I just loved being on stage. I loved performing, but I cannot sing and I cannot dance. So I was like, how else can I be the center of attention? Oh, broadcasting.
Right. Okay. Interesting. So when you were that age, did you try to get into radio? Like, were you volunteering at all? Or like, what got you down that path to take the BCIT course and, to get to where you are today?
Well, when I was in theater, we did a show called Rent, and Jasmina, actually, who is in Vancouver radio, she had a little minor part in the show because she actually went to Garibaldi and knew my theater teacher. Okay. And when she came in, I was just in awe of her. And so I was like, wow, radio. So I started doing my research and I found BCIT. It's like one of the best programs to do for radio. And so right out of high school, I applied for the part-time courses. So I did 9 part-time courses because my parents wanted to make sure that I really wanted to do radio because I was still quite shy. And then after the part-time courses, I fell in love and I applied for full-time and got in right away. So I was pretty lucky. That's crazy. So you're shy. And what gets you over the hump to be a radio personality? Because I mean, that takes some guts. It does. And it's weird because I still am quite shy and introverted. So people often ask me, they're like, how do you do what you do? But my safe place and my comfort place is on the radio. I don't know why. I will tell the world everything when the mic is on. I have no filter. I am not shy at all. I don't know. That just seems like my happy, safe place. Yeah. So I don't know why that is. I feel like it's an outlet or something. Yeah. Speaking from 20 years experience doing radio, it is a wicked outlet, a wicked release. Joining MJ next week, BCHL network editor, the GM of the Port Moody Panthers, Brian Weeb, and Juno award-winning producer, Brian Howes. Hey, we tried to get all 3 Brians. MJ will just have to do. Of course, want to give big thanks to this week's guests, Aussie's guitarist, Black Label Society's overlord, Father Zakk Wylde. Always great hanging out with you, man. I dig that you've remained cool throughout your career. One of the nicest, one of the funniest guys in the business. Thank you. WoW wrestler Ray Lynn. How awesome. How random to hit you up with hey, why don't you come on my show next week with Zakk Wylde? It turns out that you're a big Black Label fan. Very cool. Super awesome to hang out and appreciate you giving us a little bit of love up here on the wet coast of Canada. And author and the host of the ridiculously awesome Record Store Day podcast, Paul Myers. Great to hang out. Here's some stories. Love seeing you in my feeds. I dig what you're all about. Dig what you're doing. Appreciate you taking the time. And that's going to do it for episode 255. My name is Todd Hancock. Thank you so much for hanging out right till the end. Thanks for listening. If you like what you heard, please tell your friends. Subscribe. You can do it through iTunes and Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube as well. We're also part of the Dean Blundell Network out of Toronto at deanblundell.com. He pushes buttons. He's a good dude. Comment and rate the podcast. Search it out through Toddcast Podcast. Of course, a huge thanks to all of our wonderful sponsors. You can find links to all sponsor websites at toddhancock.ca. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast, you can for as little as $10 a day. Contact info, bing, right on the homepage. We'll see you soon. And if you help us find a sponsor, by the way, we'll give you a commission based on the ad buy. If you know a business that gets it, maybe you run a business that gets it, let's talk. Till next week, don't be an asshole. Nobody wants to be around that. Have fun, play hard, and most of all, believe in yourself.
The Toddcast Podcast. Keep in touch with Todd through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and bookmark toddhancock.ca.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go Network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.